Good day and welcome to the dining room table. Ghost criminals arrested in New York City for alleged phone robbery theft operation. Subscribe, like, and share. New York City Mayor Eric Adams did a press conference with his police department. Here is Commissioner Caban, and he's going to talk about ghost criminals. Now, there are ghost guns where they are parts of guns put together so there are no serial numbers and law enforcement can't trace them. There's also ghost cars where the VIN numbers don't match the license plates. But now ghost criminals, and it sounds like it's something new to NYPD as well. But as Commissioner Caban is going to say, they had to like figure it out and create some new detective work in order to do this. Let's hear from him. We're also going to hear from Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenny, who is going to outline what these ghost criminals allegedly did.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and as always, thank you for your leadership. So, in recent months, a wave of migrant crime has washed over our city, but by no means do the individuals committing these crimes represent the vast number of people coming to New York to build a better life. But they are nonetheless preying on New Yorkers and making our city less safe. And so, as with any other criminal enterprise, the NYPD and its partners at the District Attorney's Office move with purpose to disrupt their operations and hold them accountable. That is what today is all about. At the beginning of this administration, we face new and emerging challenges in the way of ghost guns and ghost cars. The inability for us to track them disrupts our investigations and makes it that much harder to bring criminals to justice. But as with anything, we learn, we evolve, and we get the bad guys. Today, we are seeing similar situations with migrants. They're essentially ghost criminals. No criminal history, no photos, no cell phone, no social media. Sometimes we're even unclear on a name or a date of birth. And on top of that, these operations are extremely sophisticated. They intentionally try to evade the police. But whenever there is a challenge or a dead end, you can count on the great detectives in the world to find a way. So, relying on a great deal of traditional detective work, our investigators were relentless in their pursuit of these suspects, and steadily they began piecing clues together. Today is a hard fought win, and so I want to extend my thanks and gratitude to everyone who stayed the course and cracked the case on behalf of all New Yorkers. I will now turn it over to our Chief Detective, Joe Kenny, to share more details about this investigation. Chief.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon. I'm going to discuss citywide grand larceny pattern number 156. The crimes in this pattern involve multiple thieves on mopeds, snatching cell phones and purses from their victims. These thieves would ride up behind their victims on the sidewalk, steal their property, and then make their getaway. The majority of the victims are women, simply just walking alone. We have seen that the mopeds used in these crimes are also stolen as well. The first incident of this pattern occurred on the Upper East Side of Manhattan back in November of 2023, and the most recent hit was last night in Lower Manhattan in Chinatown. There are a total of 62 incidents that have been connected to this pattern so far, touching every borough in New York City except Staten Island, with almost 56% of these crimes taking place in Manhattan. During our investigation, we learned that these perpetrators are part of a sophisticated criminal enterprise made up of migrants who have recently arrived in the United States. This network of thieves predominantly live in the migrant shelter system. They use social media platforms to organize and coordinate their thefts. This is how they operate. The leader of the crew, identified as Victor Para, will blast out a message via WhatsApp that he is looking for phones. Para will send out specific orders for what type of phone he is looking for. And then the text will say, "I have money, I'm available, go get them." Once the messages are received, the crime wave begins, with the scooter operators making $100 a day and the actual phone snatcher making between $300 to $600 per phone that is stolen. These stolen phones are then brought to Victor Parra's residence, which is located at 2970 Bronx Park East in the Bronx, which is the Parkside NYCHA development. There, Parra employs a tech guy who is able to hack into these stolen phones, where he gains access to the victim's financial and banking apps. These apps are used to make illegal transactions and fraudulent purchases in the United States as well as South America. Once the victim's accounts are empty or holds are put on their transactions, Victor Parra will then ship the stolen phones to Colombia to be reprogrammed. To date, we have identified 14 members of this crew. 7 have been arrested and charged with multiple counts of grand larceny. 3 have been connected to several crimes, and our warrant squad is currently attempting to apprehend them, and we are building cases on the rest. And the ringleader, Victor Parra, members of the NYPD executed a search warrant at his home this morning at 2970 Bronx Park East. 22 stolen phones were recovered at this location, as well as victims' identification. 5 arrests were made, including the tech guy responsible for hacking the victim's phones and personal accounts. Mr. Parra was not home at the time of this execution, but I am confident that the U.S. Marshals Regional Fugitive Task Force will locate him shortly. Mr. Parra is a male Hispanic, 30 years old. His date of birth is June 21st, 1993. He has 1 prior arrest for grand larceny in Manhattan. He is from Venezuela, and we believe he entered the country sometime back in 2023, just as these robberies began to happen. To put this in perspective, since January 1st, 2024, we have had 32 open patterns involving mopeds and phone snatches, compared to 1 this time last year. That's 147 cases, and that equals 147 victims. Thank you very much.